Nick, you don't know this, right? But one of the things that I've always told all my athletes, right? It's like, how many people do you actually have in your life that sit you down just like this and talk about your goals? And most of the time, it's nobody, right? And that's why, like, I truly believe having a coach in your corner, having a mentor in your corner to help expedite your success goes a long way, right? And a lot of people can't find those people. So, like, doing this right here, we want to continue to grow this every week. Whether it's 3 people, 10 people, but we want to continue to grow this because I truly believe as a man, most of the time we never get to express our feelings. We kind of hold it in. So when we get on these calls, it's just to start off the week and reset and realign for moving into the weekend and next week as well.
I like it.
Yeah. So what up, AC?
Hey, Danny.
Hey, Ish, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
How's the new job going?
It's getting smooth right now. It was complex for the first 2 weeks, first 3 weeks, but now it's easing into things where I know where things go, know what to do, so it doesn't feel stressful.
Oh yeah. What was your takeaway from last week? I'm gonna put you in the spot. I'm sorry.
Go above and beyond.
I love it. I love
And
it.
go above and beyond, and guess what? The manager sees me not like I showed a message from the manager to Danny that because I've been on time, never been late, been reliable, and always open to an opportunity such as new hours. He always I've been now he now granted me with instead of 5 days a week, 6 days a week, so more hours, more income coming in, which means that I'm pretty much on my way for my financial journey as the way it's supposed to be. So it's pretty good.
I love that, man. I love that. Way to go. Way to go. Over above and beyond, man. That's the key of everything we do in life. Oh, serve more, give it your best self.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So
Hell,
let's get to this call. Nick, we'll let you lead this one, Nick, since you're one of the directors here. Today's topic that we want to discuss is which we've seen a lot, right?
Yep.
Why do people why do people start to steer away from their goals? What's up?
Oh, that's a good question. And from what I've seen, and just so everybody else on the call knows, my name's Nick Morrill. I'm actually the director of Rise. I've been in leadership roles for the past 20 years. My largest leadership role, I led a $4 billion supply chain. So I've been all over the place. I've been coaching and competing for about 18 years. I'm lucky enough to partner with Danny and JP and help scale and build the systems within Rise. So I'll preface what I'm going to say with that. So throughout my years of leadership, it ends up for the most part, it breaks down to two different things. People either steer away from their goals because they don't understand that there are other levels and that they can actually achieve. Either that or there's some type of limiting self-belief that they can actually reach it, and then if they reach it, things will actually change. Right. So there's a lot of internal monologue that goes on when you're trying to reach a goal. And if the internal monologue is negative predominantly, people start to give up on their goals because it's, well, even if I reach it, it's not going to matter. My life's not going to change. It's still not going to look any different. And that's why it's extremely valuable to, one, always deliver on the promises that you make, whether you're a coach or being coached, right? Because I have business coaches that I have to deliver on my promises. And then two, to just follow a process, right? You tell people all the time, right, Danny, just trust the process. You don't know where I'm leading you, but when you get there, you'll see. And even if you broke it down into something biblically, you may not know now what I'm going to show you, right?
young,
So, but I think that that's
love it.
yeah, I think that that's the biggest thing, right? If you've never seen something, and to you it's this outrageous thing that somebody's telling you you can achieve, and you've never experienced something like that, it's very hard to have that faith that that thing even exists, let alone that you're going to be able to get there. And then also the self-limiting belief that even if I get there, things won't change. So in my experience, those are the things. What do you think, Danny?
I truly think the reason why people the reason why people always steer off their goals, or like you said, that self-limiting belief, but it's definitely going to come down to their environment, right? Your environment, which is also goes right into your self-limiting beliefs as well. Because one thing is, once you are exposed to something once, right? It's the fear of the unknown, right? It's the law of exposure, right? So if you've been exposed to success once, then you start to have that self-belief to continue to, move forward.
Mhm.
So I think most of the time it comes down to a lot of it's like the devil, right? It's like he's speaking in your ear, he's putting all these doubts into your head, and he doesn't allow you to be in line with your conscience, right? Because your subconscious is telling you, hey, I don't know if I can do this. I wish I can do this. I wish I had the discipline to do this, right? But we truly understand like discipline itself, that's just structure of freedom, right? And
Yep.
I feel like once a person comprehends they're like in line, because that voice in your head is always telling you, hey, I can do this. You know you can do this, right? But it's fear. It's based on fear, right? And that's why a lot of people hop into the program and they have the fear of, oh, am I going to get to that goal? We don't know, right? We don't know if you're going to get to that goal. But the thing is, if you put in the daily process and you pay your rent daily, I truly believe that right there puts you on a trajectory to slingshot yourself forward.
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's easier to hit a goal once you've already hit one too.
yeah,
Sometimes people set too big of goals at first and they don't micro the goals. So
yes,
you may want to lose 100 pounds. Why don't you try getting 6,000 steps in a day first? Okay, now I got a goal and I hit one. And then we'll move it to 10. Then we'll make sure it's 3 workouts a week, so on and so on and so on. Because what's that? What's Alex Hormozy say? That saying, you don't get confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror. You get
yeah.
Correct.
confident by having an undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are. So those big goals become easier once you've been really good at micro goals. So I agree 100% with you, buddy.
Yeah, it is all about systems. Follow that system that we got to go through. It's all the processes, right? You guys like are in the program. I'm imagine, right? It's like we know we need to get all these things done. We don't know what's the end result, and every time we focus on the end result, we always, we get anxious and we want to go there real quick. But we gotta go through all these processes first, trusting that that process actually gonna get you there. And that's what it was this morning, to be honest. Like, man, those days that you feel drained, you feel tired, you're like, man, I don't want to do this thing, right? Then you start wondering yourself, like, why I'm doing this, why I can stay longer in bed. I just don't want to do this, right? Today is not the day. But when you have system in place, that's what actually it help you bring you back to your center, right? To your best self, to your high frequency, which is your state of mind, right? Or your feelings. So I was like, no, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do my 3 daily wins. I pray, meditate, I read, and then I go to the gym. And then when I'm going to the gym, like I don't just go with emotion. No, I actually do something even harder. I throw some hit in there. I mean, I just tried to get. I was doing cardio and I did stairmaster. I went to level like 18. I just gotta push myself and get that thing out of me. And then after that, I feel accomplished. It's like okay, and then I feel like energized, and then I feel like I change my frequency for a low frequency to a high frequency because I know those processes. I know that system is gonna help me elevate myself. But if I stay myself in that low frequency that I was this morning, like, you know what? I can chill back. It can be just another day. No, no, no. We don't have time for that. I need to level up because there is always more to give. So
Yep.
we here in this call because we can give more. Like I know I have this call. I need to be on my best self. My best self is following the system. The system brought me here. Like I can speak with you guys. So that's why systems are very important. Processes are very important. And once you identify that your non-negotiables every single day, you're always gonna be on your best self. So I think that creating that system is always gonna lead you back. Like, okay, I know my goals. I'm gonna follow that no matter how I feel. And stacking those wins is what actually gonna get you to that goal.
Beautiful. We're all on 100. All of us on 100.
Yeah, that's how we do it, bro. So what is a so what would you say?
That's
What
right.
what are some ways that you guys will do to regain that fire back? I know we talked about that, Danny, recently.
Yeah.
You feel like, hey, I feel my spark back. But there is some things that you had to do first in order for you to regain it. So what was the things that you recall like that you went through that actually make you feel that you got a fire back?
You do it anyway. So winning gives you a fire. You don't have a fire when you're losing. That's not how it works. But the only way to get your fire back, at least for me, right, is I have to make my plan and work my plan regardless of how I feel. And then once I start stacking wins, the fire comes back. It's pretty easy. You can sit back and you can analyze what made you successful before. So I go, okay, do I get more done when I wake up at 8 a.m. or do I get more done when I wake up at 5? Do I get more done when, the first thing I do is grab my phone? Or do I get more done when the first thing I do is reach for my Bible? Which one's a more successful action? You make the list, or for me, I make the list of the actions that make me successful. I plan my day the day before. I work my plan the day of, and I work that plan until I start winning so much that the fire comes back. Right? It's just simple. If I need to sign more clients, I'm not going to sign more clients by doing something that by doing unsuccessful actions. And my fire is not going to come back when I'm in a dry streak. Fire comes back when you sign 5 people in a day. It's like,
Yep.
oh, okay, this works. I'm going to keep doing this. This is fun. Winning's fun. Losing is not fun. So you get back to the actions that make you a winner. And all of those things are hard. So it's not going to be something that you're like, oh, I can't wait to go do hard stuff. You schedule the hard stuff. You make a promise to yourself and you make a promise to somebody else publicly that you're going to do that thing. That way you've got somebody to hold you accountable. JP, you and I know this, right? You and I had a talk last month. It's like, hey, this is where you're at. This is where you need to be. This is what I expect. And you're like, I'm going to do more. And you publicly declared that you're going to do 2 more than I asked you to do. And guess what? You did it. And you're a highest vibration in a long time right now because that's how winning is done. Right. So I think that's the key. Identify your successful actions, make a plan, make the plan public. That way you have to stick to it. And then once you start winning, your fire will come back. That's just how it works.
Freaking Thursday
Hey,
calls,
well,
guys. If you
hey,
guys are not fired up, like guys, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like here with like goosebumps. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's get
I think
this thing started.
Nick, Nick he just took it out right out of my mouth. You know why? Everything he said is it's called the blueprint, guys. Right? It's your blueprint. Whatever those things are, whether it's waking up, reaching for the Bible, or getting on the treadmill to get some movement in, that is your blueprint. Right? We all create our own successful blueprint, and sometimes we get off of it. Right? Sometimes we start to drift because it gets comfortable. Whether it's finances, whether it's fun times in our life, we start to drift a little bit. But when you get back to that blueprint for myself, getting up a little bit earlier, right? Blocking my days out, giving myself set times throughout the day just makes me more productive and it's just counting those wins over a period of time, right? So it's the blueprint. And the next thing Nick said is momentum, right? Getting those wins. That is momentum. Momentum carries everything. And I talked to both of you guys a lot on it, right? Once you catch that momentum, that's you ride it, right? Because we understand there's always going to be the highs and the lows, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to understand how to ride that midline. You got to ride that midline.
So what are some of your things? Because you just mentioned something that's going to be really important for everybody that gets on these calls, right? Riding momentum's easy, right? You stay on that bad boy as long as you can.
Yep.
Eventually the wave is going to break.
Yes.
No matter how great you are, it's just how it goes. How do you identify when it breaks? And then what are some things that you think will make them successful as far as getting back out? Because there's momentum, there's the blueprint, and then there's quicksand. So there's a bunch of different things inside of being an entrepreneur. So what happens when you hit quicksand and that bottom of the wave?
Great question. For me or just in general?
I say for you because you're a pretty hyper successful human being.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is I have to continue to ground myself, right? Because when you reach that hyper success over and over and over, continuing to ground myself is the biggest thing, right? Because those highs eventually has to come down, right? The slopes eventually have to come down. So for me, Nick, I continue to have to ground myself, right? So I have to see the bigger picture. in what I'm doing. That's how I get my fire back, and it's easier said than done though, right? It's like, oh, let's just look at big picture things. But I'm gonna have to sit on this, and I'll run it to JP because this is a good one. If
Yeah.
you're stuck in quicksand, like what's the way to get out? Go
Yeah.
ahead, JP. What do you think about this one? What's a good one?
Well, for me, like I don't focus on results. I focus on the facts that I know things that are gonna work, and I just believe on the things that I know is gonna work because I know it worked before. And when I focus on that and on the end results, like I believe that always helped me out just to get out of that quicksand. Is I understand I'm probably not producing the way that I want to produce, but I'm doing these things because I believe in my heart this is the right things for me to do. And serving more and doing the other some other things, right? Because I believe in my heart that actually is gonna work out and pay off. That's basically what I was last month. I said, hey, I'm doing these things. Like I don't know results. I don't know what's the end number, right? Whatever I'm accumulating, but I know this is the things that are actually gonna get me there. And as following that process, following that consistency, it was actually gave me the results. At the end of the month, I was like, oh, okay,
Okay.
I'm here. I built all this up for all the momentum that I on my belief that I knew I was pouring in more without focusing on the result.
That's a huge key, 100%. I think for everybody on here, um, play on a team, right? If you have teammates, yeah, they cover your blind side. So with those consistent actions and everything like that, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you'll get stuck in a situation where the harder you work, the less you actually get done, right? Because you're too busy doing all these things. That's what quicksand is. Like I don't know you younger guys, but quicksand is something. It's a pit you sink into, and the more you struggle, the further you sink down. The only way you stop sinking is to be calm and chill out and create a solution and have somebody else help you. So
Who not
the
how?
whole that whole lone wolf thing that everybody wants to claim and the alpha thing, like I'm a lone wolf, I can do this all on my own. Go ahead. I got a team. I'm gonna beat you. That's just how it rolls. There's a reason that there's three partners on this call and not one, right? You got three brains, three hyper successful human beings that are willing to pour into other people. You can put one person on this phone, they're not going to beat the three of us. Just how it is. So if I'm not doing the things that I'm supposed to do, Lloyd's going to call me, not in a negative way. He'll be like, "Hey, brother, what's going on? Are you sleeping? You making sure you're getting your workouts in? Oh, you're not? Hey, you need to take the day off and you need to go do those things. That'll set you up for this." Even yesterday, JP was a good example. Megan calls. I want to take the call. Lloyd's like, "You're not taking that call. You're going to sit here and you're going to do your leadership stuff." When you were getting ready to go through January, you didn't just sit in your house by yourself and say, "Oh, I need to do more." You got a call from Lloyd. You got a call from me. I'm sure you talked to Danny, right? About how you're going to do things. So there's a lot to be said for being a very self-motivated human being. But the old saying is, if you want to go somewhere fast, you go alone. If you want to go somewhere far, you go with other people. So the key to keeping yourself out of quicksand and the key to not getting stagnant outside of systems is you play on a team with people that are either better than you or people that are pushing you to be the best version of yourself. That can't be replaced. That's why business coaches, spiritual coaches, life coaches, mentors, they're so incredibly important. If you can get somebody to pour into you like this and you play on that team, you literally can't be beat.
100%. Like,
Beautiful.
yeah, without you guys, like I know my support system. Like when I need to call Nick or call Danny and we sit down and talk, it's like feel like okay, I'm back to my center, to my life. It's like okay, I have that vision or I have that feeling or I have whatever that is that I need it. It's like because you know you get that's why this system works, guys. That's why you guys have Danny as a coach. Hey, when you feel some type of way, you gotta communicate. You gotta come back to somebody that you look up to because those are the ones gonna point to yourself, which is yes, we make an investment, but it's not even that. It's somebody actually care about you. Actually gonna see like, hey, I know you, I know where you're going. Like this is why I remember like my man had a new job recently. and asking questions, right? Because we here with the intention of us driving you guys to another level because we are in that level you guys probably looking for. So when you find a group like this, like we want to do pour in every Thursday, like guys, don't take this slightly. It's like system works.
Yep.
Give yourself helping, grabbing all the energy from all the people that are above you. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ask questions too, guys. Like we're
Yeah.
not here to yeah, we have systems. Yes, we have good advice, and we can talk about our personal experiences all day and how things have happened. But if you want practical knowledge for your life and where you're at, ask away. Like literally, the calls about y'all.
Yeah. LaShawn, what do you think you're struggling at, man? How can we help you?
Hey man, I know I'm not. I don't feel like I'm struggling, but I'm going through a big change, just like AC. I mean, I just quit my job to kind of start my entrepreneurial, journey in real estate. And
Nice.
so I think one of the big things right now is figuring out that schedule, figuring out the routine, right? To continue to get those small wins, which what we've been talking about. So maybe beforehand, I'd wake up, I'd go for my steps, and that would be my first win of the day, right? But maybe that's going to have to change. And so one thing that I need to navigate right now is really figuring out how am I going to get my small wins and what is that going to look like on a day-to-day basis now.
Okay. Who's if you don't mind me asking, who's your mentor? Not who's your mentor, maybe you have one, but what was the reason you got into real estate?
My dad, and, I think it was a couple of years ago while I was in school, and we both said we want to get into real estate and take this journey on together. And so I started just doing investing, and then I kept on growing in the space, into property management, and now I'm getting into wholesaling as well. So
Okay, so if you were to model yourself after a really, really successful real estate mogul, which one would it be?
uh, and I'd have to probably say, I don't think I don't think there's any like real estate mogul, but there's people in the space.
Get down.
And his name's Sean
Okay.
Castro. Um, he's in his early mid 20s, and he's doing wholesaling. He's working his own wholesaling business, and I think somebody that I look up to, even though he's not a mogul. I think that's somebody that I can relate to, and I look up to because of his work ethic, um, the way he navigates through issues, the way he connects with folks, right, and make sure to continue to get things done even when times are a little bit tough.
Okay. Does he also work out?
Yeah, he does.
Perfect. So if that's the blueprint and that's the model that you want, why don't you ask him what his schedule is? Ask him how if you can, or either that or watch him and see what his schedule is.
Yep.
Right. Because if that's the thing you want to be, that's the best place to start. Model the thing that you want. Right. And then from there, you'll be able to figure out like, okay, these are the 7 things he gets done today. Those are the 7 things that I want to strive for. What other
Yep.
things do I need to get done? Because you're going to want to be something like Danny, because Danny's hyper focused on building his business, being an entrepreneur, being a life coach. He's going to be dabbling in real estate, like all these other things, and he's a great coach. So you're going to want to take some stuff from Danny. Then you're also going to want to take some stuff that's closer to the field that you want to be. Take all the successful actions, build them out of their schedules, build them into your own, and then you manipulate it to what best fits you as long as you're getting the task done. So what I tell all the younger people that I coach that are trying to get into it, it's who do you look up to in the space? And from that person, as long as it's everything that you want to be, plagiarize their schedule, see if it works for you, and then manipulate it just a little bit.
That's great advice. I didn't even think of that.
Absolutely, brother. Well, I'm happy for you, man. I really am. Genuinely, getting out and chasing your dream is not something that a lot of people get the opportunity to do. So the fact that you're doing it speaks volumes of you.
That's
I
why he's
appreciate
on
that.
this call. That's why he's on this call. He's actually been talking to me about making the jump a year ago. He was like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
man.
I think I want to do it. I'm working a normal 9 to 5 right now. I'm kind of I'm kind of scared, but this year he jumped for it. So I think it's the little pressures, having somebody in your corner to say, hey man, like you're capable of doing these things, and then he jumped this year.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly where it should be.
Yeah, well
Yep.
done.
See, that's Nick. That's what we're doing, man. It's like, hey, first it was the transformation. Now it's like, hey, what else do you have in your life that you want to chase?
Yeah.
Now that he's building himself up to be that person that he's
Mhm.
becoming, you see the opportunity now, right? Nashawn's like, hey, I'm jumping for this now. So
Yep.
it's like when you weren't there and you weren't that person, you can't see these opportunities.
Exactly.
Yep.
And at that first win that he got doing that hard transformation, that was the key to unlock the door to thinking he could do more stuff.
It's just, hey,
Stacking wins.
getting in shape, building these habits, just a precursor to the success you want.
Absolutely. It all starts
Everything,
there.
yeah, everything's starting in you guys, starting yourself. When you're able to change yourself, you're like, I'm capable. And that's gonna push yourself farther, like on your self-belief. What are the
Absolutely.
actually making be ourselves? It's fucking hard to get in shape. It is hard. It takes everything.
Yep.
Hard to maintain it too.
Yep.
Hard.
Day to day. Every
Daily
day.
work, buddy.
It's
Daily work.
every
I'm
day. Every day.
41 years old, still out here every day in the garage,
100%.
getting the day
What about
started.
you, Chadozi? What about you, man? What are you going through this week, man, that we can help you out? Any struggles? Anything this week?
Sure. So even though I'm very grateful to work more hours so I can get myself financially in the right path right now, at the same time, what I'm currently struggling with is trying to find a time for me to work on my own thing, because not only I work at my 9 to 5, but also do a side hustle where I do photographs and videos for eBay stuff my mom's doing that I'm getting paid for, and that's good. But at the same time, um, it's not just trying to find time for me so I can just work in my own stuff, my own stuff like Nishan's doing. But for being honest with you guys, I was going to continue the path. Danny and I talked about this too long ago, that I was going to continue on doing um, um, the career of being a web designer. JP, Nick, I'm not sure Danny told you this, but I've been a web designer for about 8 to 10 years running. And I've been working with agencies, small, big agencies, work with big companies like Meta and local companies around Tampa. And within the agency, I did some freelance gigs here and there all throughout the 10 years. And since the layoff last year, it's been a little bit hard for me trying to get back into the field because it's been very competitive lately. I had to re-up my resume, update my portfolio website. I had to practice. I had to learn new skills like Webflow. But I got interviews, but have not got anything. And slowly but surely, um, the desire for me to become a web designer or even in the entrepreneur space, uh, being a solo agency owner has not been fire for me lately. And I I'm really honestly right now kind of lost towards what my career path is, because I know for a fact that I do not want to be a meat clerk for the rest of my life, but I want to do something that's gonna be great for me, but also a best value for everybody else outside of me.
I got you. So you guys want to take this? Or you want me to give him my spiel?
You can go ahead.
JP even got to hear this yesterday. He gets to hear it again. Um, so let me start by saying this, man. At least you're the type of human being that wants to progress. All right, and that's something. There's something to be said for not being complacent. So I want to commend you on that first. Um, but it's hard to find passion, buddy. It is. It's hard to find that forever thing that you want to do, and most of the time when you're searching for it, you don't find it, right? So the thing that I did, and the thing that I tell everybody to do when they're trying to find what they're supposed to do, is you look for what you're called for, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all here to be of service to somebody. So the alignment's going to happen when you find three things, right? The first thing, you have to understand what your gifts are, your talents, right? Because everything that you have naturally inside of you that you're good at, they're not yours. They were a gift from God, and those things are supposed to be used to help people, right? So whatever that is, you need to find out what those things are, make a list at them. Like, okay, here's the things that I've always been naturally talented of. Then you need to make a list of things that you've done and then things that you think would really be cool to do, because in there you're going to find out what your passion is. It's like, oh, okay, here's some things that like really light my fire. So now I know my gifts and my talents. Now I know the things that like set me on fire. And then the next set is like, okay, what are my life experiences and what would allow me to reach a different level of empathy for a client base than somebody else ever could? Because if you're going to do something, you're going to have to, and be successful at it, you're going to have to be able to speak about it on a level that nobody else can speak about. Like when you see Grant Cardone, he can speak about real estate for some reason in a higher passion than anybody else. When you hear Tony Robbins, he speaks on a different level. He doesn't know more than everybody else does. He speaks about it differently. That's what makes him so successful. Same thing with same thing with Danny. There's a lot of great coaches out there. Danny speaks differently, which is why you follow him. And he speaks differently because that's his passion. So where your gifts and your talents from God meet, the passion that you have meet your life experiences and what you're lended to be able to do from a speaking and empathy level, that's where that's where your purpose is. So you got to combine those things. Now, I don't know if that's web design for you. I don't know what it is, but you can't sit there and not put pen to paper and just let it stay in your head and think about it. It takes action. So write down the gifts you have, write down the things that you're passionate about, write down what your life experiences have been, and start analyzing and just be like, okay, well, out of the, like with this, what's my purpose? What do I truly love to do? Because if you find out what that is, we can help you build a business around literally anything. I don't care if you want to make gummy bears. If that's what you're passionate about, we'll
There's a
build a
market.
system for.
There's a market for it.
There's a market for everything, buddy. You can make 10 grand a month doing just about anything at this point. It depends on who takes over the market for that thing. So that's the beginning of the process for you. And also understand that there's time. There's always time, right? If you multiply 24 hours by 7 right now and you deducted 56 hours for sleep, then 50 or 60 hours for work, there's still a ton of time left for you to do whatever you want to. If you plan it into your day, like this is a non-negotiable. For 1 hour a day, I'm working on my dream. A half hour a day, I'm working on my dream, whatever that is. So establish the dream, establish what you want it to be, put the time in there, and then utilize your teammates like Danny and JP to help lead you to do the thing that you love. But you can't sit there and think about wanting to do stuff, thinking about it's not doing the thing, planning about it's not doing the thing. You actually have to put pen to paper and start doing the thing. Does that make sense, buddy?
Makes complete sense. Thank you.
I just,
You gotta get those reps.
yeah, buddy, it's just, I want you to find your passion. I want everybody to find their passion. I didn't find mine till, my late 30s. I jumped ship. Yeah,
If you guys didn't know, Nick left corporate America. At what age, Nick?
38.
38. Left a safety of a job to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I made
Never too
really
late.
good money. Yeah, I made really good money. I just moved. I have 2 kids, and they're young kids. My son was 3 and my daughter was 1. And I jumped ship from a 6-figure salary because this is the thing that I love to do. It wasn't easy, but it's what I'm called to do. So for you guys, man, if being an entrepreneur is the thing, you have 2 great coaches on the phone with you, JP and Danny. And if you follow some of the systems and practices we're giving you, it will align you to just do the work, right? But you got to get aligned first. But that's how I would go about that, Chidozi.
Awesome. So that was you. JP?
Man, I mean, I cannot say better than that, to be honest. It is how it is. It is facts.
Hey,
Well, I
one thing I do
appreciate
want to add, I do want to add on to that. What Nick said is, yes, you want to find your passion, but at the same time, like sometimes your passion won't pay at first,
Nope.
right? So
Oh, yeah.
you'll do other jobs first, right? That will build you skill sets, and then eventually it will lead to your passions, right? So that's the thing. Right off the bat, you're not going to be able to find like, man, what is this burning desire that I have in life? That's just not how it works. You know what I mean? Like some people love their passion, but it doesn't eventually pay and support their lifestyle. So
Yeah.
you have to do other skill sets, right? Maybe right now, Chidozi, you don't like you're working a job you don't really like it now. But the thing is, maybe you're putting on this lesson right now because you need to be more organized. You need, with your job now, it's building these little skill sets that allow you to become the person, right? And then the opportunity will come. So that's how it was for me. It's like I've never really worked a job that I didn't like. Every job that I've always passionate about. And eventually it built me these skill sets, right, to be able to do the job that I have now. So that's the biggest thing.
That's
Right.
a great call out, Danny. It's
Yeah.
a great call out.
Yeah, that's
And
just how I've always seen it. It's like there's so many people that have this burning desire to say, man, I would love to do this job. Like this is my passion. But that's not how it is. Like some people just maybe have to go to the 9 to 5 and work those years and pay their rent daily until that self-belief allows them to actually jump and do the thing they want to do. Right. Because one thing is we can all say, oh, you need discipline, you don't need motivation. But guess what, guys? In the beginning, you might
that's all you
need
got.
motivation. You know what I mean? Like maybe in the beginning, you might need to reach out to a mentor. Maybe in the beginning, you might need to listen to a YouTube video to get you going, right? Not everybody is disciplined. So you need that motivation in the beginning first, and then those habits will be in place.
Yep. And guys, it's the beginning is sweat equity. You don't have anything other than that. The only thing you have is time and work. I coached for 10 years before I made a dime off of it. Yeah.
Hey,
I coached for 10 years before I made a dime.
I will say this. Nick, you don't know this. JP, you maybe know this, but I remember when Rise first opened, okay? And I was in college. I was going to UNG right there on the corner. And I remember I was bringing these guys in and I was coaching them on the side. Like I was training them. And remember Lloyd sat me down. He's like, hey, man, hey, buddy, I love you, man. But we weren't that close either. Hey, buddy, you can't do this. He's like, you can't train people in here. And I was like hustling at that point, right? I was like hustling in college. Like this guy wanted to train. He's like, you can't do that. And eventually, where I was at that point in my life just led me to Rise. It was like over and over, right? It's like I started to see Lloyd, I saw him a little bit more. And I was like, man, there's this team that's growing, but there was no structure. It's like people in and out, right? And then once Lloyd really sat down and say, hey, we want to build this, he sat me down. He said, hey, buddy, you can make a lot of money doing this. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna just go the normal route. And then I jumped for it, and now I'm here.
Yep. Same
Right?
thing with your brother.
Yeah. He's like, Lloyd sat me down. I remember at a show, he said, you can make a lot of money in this. Because I was doing social media at the time. He's like, I don't know, man. Like, I see you guys doing it. You guys are all working together on a computer. I don't know if that's for me. Now, fast forward, life changed completely.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. So, but guys, it's what Danny's just trying to say is like it's possible for all of us.
Oh,
Right. Danny's got a completely different background than me. JP's got a completely different background. We all got shown an opportunity that took a lot of work and a lot of consistency, but it also took a lot of faith. Kind of just like, well, there's the cliff. I'm going to jump off that bitch. I'm going to figure out how to fly on the way down. If not, I'm going to die. Right. I sold my house, jumped ship, and I had to succeed, and I've had to succeed every day. Like no one's bringing a paycheck for my kids. Right? You'll never be more motivated until you got to do it all by yourself. But guess what? Like I trust my own work ethic. So you can spend a lifetime building shit for other people. Either that or you can spend a little time building stuff for other people and start building your own stuff. So, but guys, I appreciate you letting me get on the call. I have another call here in 2.5 minutes with Miss Kendall. So, to the guys who hopped on here who are being coached, this is going to be an incredible value for you. Just when you come to the calls, come with questions, come with wins, come with struggles. Start working on something and allow this leadership team to help you grow it and just give you suggestions and ask you the right questions that'll provoke some thought. Danny, JP, you're doing an awesome job. I'm glad you guys are doing this stuff. It's going to be super valuable for everybody. And I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Nick.
it, Nick.
Guys, I
Appreciate
appreciate
you,
it.
Nick.
Talk to you in a little bit. Bye, guys.
Wow. Great
was
call,
great.
guys. So, hey, this is the thing. So every Thursday we're doing this. If you ever want to invite a friend or, somebody who can get value of this, because did you guys gain anything out of today's call?
Oh yeah, completely.
Good. So that's the thing. It's like, if you guys understand, it's like these calls, man, it's like how many people do this though? Like once a week, just get on here, just get a little bit of something every day. It's going to expedite all of our own gains and progress, right? Because Nashawn, I told you before, man, it's like, dude, you're doing the lifestyle, right? You're getting yourself in shape. That's already number one. Right now you're getting to the real estate. All right, that's the next development. You know what I mean? It's like you have all these chapters in your book. You're just slowly flipping the pages. Right. And I want you guys to really believe in this. If you just have faith and a definite purpose, that is your sixth sense. That is your sixth sense, right?
It is.
Having faith in yourself to achieving the things you want and just having a purpose. Like every day, if you have a purpose and you have those two together, you are now having the sixth sense. So it's like the people say your third eye. You
Third eye.
know, every single day you have this energy and this. It's like this fire under you. Like, man, I just want to progress and be better.
Yeah.
You know, like
Everything start putting into yourself. The
yeah,
same thing we were saying.
100%.
You got to start putting into yourself first, because you can only be as successful as your level of consciousness. So if you don't pour into yourself, you're always going to stay low. You're always going to be on the same plateau forever. But that's why we got to put into yourself. What is it? You know, being consistent. You know, doing your daily wins. You know, reading books. You know, getting close to other people that actually have that thing that you probably want, or somebody have more of knowledge or whatever that is.
Yeah.
So you always got to put into yourself.
100%. Guys, there's a quote that goes like this: if you're not changing, you're choosing.
Yeah.
Right. If you're not changing, you are choosing to be where you are. You're choosing to have the same friend. You're choosing to have the same lifestyle. You're choosing to be broke. Like that's at the end of the day,
It is a choice.
It's a choice, right? It's a choice. So the thing is, when you say, "Hey, I've had enough," and you start making the little daily wins and you stack up to them, because they don't need to be crazy. You know what I mean? Like some people focus on the biggest things and they don't move at all. They get paralyzed. They're like, "Oh man, this goal is so big." No, that's not. You're right. And the thing is, JP and I can agree. It's like we haven't been to a normal job in years. You know, like this is what we do. Like this is it. Right? How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Hopped on a call. This is will this work? You know what I mean? I haven't been to a job in years. I don't know what going to a job feels like. Right? This doesn't even feel like
I don't even want to feel it. I don't even want to.
I don't. Right? But you get to a point where it's like when you're at the low, because one thing for me is this that really keeps my fire going, guys. If obviously you'll continue to know me, but when I wake up every day, it's like I have $0 in my bank account. Right? It just feels like that. Like I don't have money. I talked to JP the other day. I was like, bro, I feel broke. And he's like, I feel broke.
But everybody have their own drivers, right? Not everybody is just incentive. It doesn't have that drivers like, okay, money, right? We always want money, of course. But every person have different drivers, right? For him, is one of this is that wealth, you know, building that wealth. What make you feel uncomfortable? And you're like, oh, that made me uncomfortable. Hell no, I'm gonna change that. That's what he's saying, right? You choose what route you want to take. You choose where you want. Oh, you want to change that situation? Okay, what are you gonna be doing? Like for Nashawn, like he's gonna be trying to get in real estate. Okay, get on console. He's probably making 200 calls a day. Start knocking doors, getting that getting uncomfortable because he want to change his situation. It's putting yourself against the wall. Like I came to this country with nothing, right? I came with this country with nothing. I got a baseball scholarship. That's the only thing I have. The only thing I didn't speak the language and everything. Now I have a major in international business. I was an honor roll because I gave me the opportunity. It made me uncomfortable getting out of my house. I was sleeping on the floor, not even speaking the language. I came with a dictionary. I have to read everything. So, okay, let me see what that word says. That way. And now I'm like I put myself in that situation because I knew going through those things it was going to change my life. I can show you my house like what I'm at and everything, right? Just because you put that self belief, it's like okay, this is the route. It's going to be fucking hard, but if you get used to doing the things that are actually hard, is the one actually going to pay off. Being comfortable is never going to take you where you want to go. No fucking chance.
Yeah. Hey, just like when you guys join the program, it's like it's a little uncomfortable in the beginning, right? Because it's a cost you're paying up front, right? But it's the price you're willing to pay if you don't join. You know, that's the difference, right? When people get into this, they're like, "Oh man, it's the price." I'm like, no. The price is what you're paying later down the road. The cost is today, right? So it's like just like your lifestyle, the things you want in your life, there's a price for it. I say it all the time, right? Are you willing to pay the price to live a different life? All right? Does that make sense?
Danny, I still remember that first conversation we had after that first team training.
Dude, I remember
I mean,
exactly where I
said the
was.
same thing. I remember where I was. I remember I was sitting down at my old place at the kitchen table, and we were having that conversation. And I was like, I don't know, man. It's pricey. And you
It
said
is.
that exact same thing to me. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed Me completely. I mean, the cost was, years later.
That's what
And
I'm saying.
the amount it's brought back to me. I mean, look where I am today, quit my job,
That's what I'm
get
saying.
into
So think about
entrepreneurship,
yeah, dude, it's like you
right?
don't realize it in the beginning when it's like the small investment you're willing to pay, but you're like, oh, no, I don't pay this. Like, is it gonna be? But now it's like you need someone in your corner that just allows you to push it, right? Just like be able to say, hey, Nishan, you can actually do this, right? But I don't see you doing it now because your habits are still off. You're doing things that are not benefiting your goals. You know what I mean? Like you're going into these things where, we all want to have fun, right? But if you continuously do it, you notice you're going to be in the same position year after year. You need people in your life who are also leveling up, right? So it's like you look at your friends. Yeah, they're your close friends, but who's actually really leveling up? You know what I mean? Like who in your life is actually leveling up and pushing forward? Because the thing is, you're always going to get together with some friends, but those maybe your friends are going to be in the same position, and it's fine. Not everybody's meant to progress that hard, right? Some people just want to live normal and be like comfortable where they're at, which is fine, right? But we all have potential. Like if you're on this call right now, we all have potential, right? That's why you took the time to hop on a call today.
No,
You
we
see
see,
more out of
we see,
yourself and you want to gain value.
yeah, and they understand like, hey, there is more out there, right? If you're on this call, it's because you understand there is more out there. You just need to tap it on, all right?
Yeah,
And that's what we do in these mindset calls. I mean, this is important, guys. Like I would advise if you
man.
guys never leave this circle because we just getting started.
Yeah, we're just getting started. It started with AC. Now we got in a shot. So it's like you guys are right in the beginning of it. And like JP and I do this every week. Like we do this
Oh,
before we started putting it online. You know what I
okay.
mean? It's bouncing back in ideas. It's like if you wake up in the day and you don't do no mindset training, you eventually drift, right? You're like, oh, I'm kind of getting comfortable. You do the bare minimum. But when you get in these calls, you're like, nah, fuck this. But for me, it's like I get so pissed, guys. Like I get pissed, like because it's the whole saying, like you do how you do one thing is how you do everything. I get pissed. If I don't work towards like a potential, I get pissed, dude. And it can be so small for you guys. Oh, he didn't make his bed this morning. I get pissed. If I don't make my bed, I get pissed at myself. I'm like, man, did I just leave the house not making my bed?
Bro, I'm being like super late, like I'm running, and then I'm like, how to put on like, oh, I gotta do my
Yeah,
best. I cannot live it that way because start letting myself down. Even
yeah,
the
of
little
course.
guys, everything matters. Now you think,
Yeah,
it's gonna
everything.
be fine. Nobody gonna no, no, no. You
No, of
gonna notice. You
course.
taking your wins away.
Yep.
Everything, every single thing matters.
Alex Ramosi said this. He's like, the world might know, but at the end of the day, if you did what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
right? Because I actually made a. Nashai, you saw the video I tagged you in yesterday on my story? It was good, right?
It was great.
I had a moment outside. I had a moment out after because the garage was open, the sun was out, and like after I did arm, I sat on the little bench out there and I had a moment. I was like, wow, like fast track 4 years later, dropped everything in Georgia, came down here and just like kind of created something. And that's what JP's talking about is like when your back's against the wall kind of deal, you know? And it's like it was scary, but it wasn't because I had belief. I was like, I'm gonna do this. JP, do you remember when I was like, hey, bro, I'm moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. And guess what?
Pack my shit, I'm going.
Yeah, it's like I'm iron. So, Nashawn, Chidozi, anything you guys want to add in here for all of us? To be honest,
No, this is
No,
was go ahead, Sean.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I just want to say this has been a very it has been a very great mindset call. Danny, I'm glad you mentally wake me up, ask me, hey, how's it going? Where you at?
yeah.
Because
Hey,
I didn't.
it's accountability, man. It's like, remember, if you do one mindset call and you think you're going to be like up here, good, right? But it's daily, just like reps. It's daily, 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 daily. You know what I mean? Like if you're missing on these mindset calls, then you think next week you're going to be on this high. It's not how it works. Life is going to happen. You might come down a little bit. It's important to get these and recharge. We
Yep.
call it the realignment at the end of the week, right? We're getting into the weekend. This is the perfect time to get ahead.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why we normally do these calls. Like you and I were doing it all the time. Just
Yeah.
hey,
Just to realign, guys.
to point to each other.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, last month you were going transitioning to something personal,
Yeah.
and I put you up. It's like, hey, no, this is the things. Remember about this. We gotta do this. And then when you come back, just fire up again. You find that fire. right?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, all of this matters. This call matters.
and I mean, all of you guys know, right? Last month it was just like, shoo. And then now, it's like, hey, JP's like, wake up, bro, get back to making content and stuff, and it lights back up, right? It's like, hey, you need somebody like, hey, wake you up. So,
Yeah.
I think that's it, guys. Hey, great call. JP will, he's obviously going to make these clips and tag you guys in it.
Yeah.
And hey, next week, if you guys want to invite a friend or whatever it is, anybody think that can benefit from these, please do, because every week we're on a different level. Yeah, we're on a different level, and we want you guys to continue to be on that different level, right? So now, I guarantee the way you go into the day is going to be completely different. How your mindset shifted.
Yeah. Don't
Right.
don't let anything you guys take from this call just to go away. Practice it. Remember, right? Whatever you take from it, try to practice through the whole day and remember yourself, and you will see it's gonna create a self-belief. Like, yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. It's
Josie, Josie, like he said, write down your strengths. Right, write down your strengths. If anybody tell you like, hey man, like work on your weaknesses, no, your strengths are everything, bro. Your strength is what builds you. Right.
Agreed.
Sean, copy the schedule, like you said, plagiarize the schedule. You know what I mean? Think about it this way. If you're a real estate agent and you have a little bit of everything, like, dude, you can really coach somebody and build that. That's a business within itself. You can't just be a real estate guy and just like, hey, I'm gonna just sell this property because like you're just like everybody else. If you get the coaching out of it and like know how to do that, now you're also pouring into your clients the same way, right? You're giving them
Mhm.
that you, and that's what's going to build that long-term relationship. And it's at the end of the day, guys, it's all about building relationships, anyways, right? Life is about building relationships.
Yeah, same thing as building websites.
Yeah.
You have experience. Maybe you're teaching somebody else, you can regain that fire back, and you say, okay, you start doubling on different things because you want to show that person something different, right? And that drive you to you like, okay, let me dabble in different knowledge and things that I actually got to work on myself. But might as well you have somebody that actually you wanna let's say impress, or you wanna teach in the right ways because maybe you need some help, right? But you're helping yourself out before you help other people. So we gotta put that system in place in order for you to actually maybe scale up and maybe find a fire back.
And one thing, guys, I've noticed before you guys hop on here, just with even the partnership, like when we talk about struggles, it helps me dramatically, right? It's like these are my struggles for the week, and you hear somebody kind of help you through it, you're like, boom, I'm right out of the rut. It's really good to just express it. Like it's like, hey, we're all here. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna sit here and like, oh, this guy's struggling with it. No, we don't care. You know what I mean? But the thing is, if you come to these calls, you're like, hey, these are my struggles. Just like AC, doesn't it feel good to just say what your struggles are?
Yeah, man. It really feels good to let it off my chest. So
Oh,
Yeah,
you
dude.
need to recognize in order to change. If
Yeah,
you
you
can
gotta
recognize something you're going through, you're not gonna change.
Exactly. So when you guys come to these calls, and every week we have a different topic, right? This week was like, hey, how do you regain that fire back? Like why do people give up on their goals? Like those are topics that are very, very normal. Right. So every week there's a new topic, right? And we're going through it. And some of the topics are literally day-to-day life stuff too. But yeah, other than that, guys, you have a great day. JP, stay on the call for a second. Okay, just for a second.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, boys.
Appreciate
Have a good
y'all.
day, okay?
see ya.